Hey guys, how's it going? Robert Warshak here, and we're going to be taking a look and reviewing some of the new Descent of Dragon cards. We'll be going through each class and everything that's been released to us thus far, starting with Druid. So first things first, Breath of Dreams, 2 mana, draw a card. If you're holding a dragon, gain an empty mana crystal. So this is insane, considering Wild Growth. Before it was nerfed, was 2 mana, gain an empty mana crystal. So not only this has the wild growth aspect, you also draw a card if you're holding a dragon. As we know, Descent of Dragons, we're going to see a lot of dragons. There's a lot of dragons we're going to cover today. So having one in your opening hand shouldn't be that hard. Sometimes it won't occur. Worst case, you use it to draw a card in the later stages of the game when the mana crystal doesn't matter. But either way, getting a mana crystal that early on this card is insane. Like, this card is super good and basically an automatic include into any dragon druid deck. Moving to Emerald Explorer, it's a 6 mana 4/8 dragon taunt battle cry, discover a dragon. We're going to see a lot of the discover dragon mechanics as we move in later on. I think this is actually one of the better ones. For 6 mana, a 4/8 taunt is pretty big. Plus it's a dragon, plus it's generating more dragons, and it gives you the ability to discover one, so you get to pick. It just doesn't make a random one. The discover mechanic is significantly better than just like randomly getting a dragon sometime, right? Because you're able to pick what you want. So I actually think this is a really super solid dragon, not only in stat lines but abilities as well. And again, plus it has taunt. Like a lot of decks can't really do, like 6 mana for a 4/8, that's huge. Moving on to some hunter cards, we have Corrosive Breath, a 2 mana, deal 3 damage to a minion. If you're holding a dragon, it also hits the enemy hero. So as we can see, there's a lot of effects with, if you have a dragon in your hand, it does this, but then it also does that. We know Hunter is really good at dealing damage face through its many spells and its hero power. So I think Corrosive Breath is just another way to like not only deal with minions, but also chip your opponent's health down. Obviously going to be an auto include in any dragon hunter deck, but the thing is about dragon hunter is we'll see how aggressive the dragon cards are, because if the dragon hunter is going to play like a mid-range or value deck, and hunter has always been a more aggressive style deck, it doesn't even fit in the hunter class, so it probably won't work as well and feel as cohesive as some of these other decks, where if like we have a dragon control priest has always been able to control stuff, so of course it just flows really well. But hunter has always been a class that's obviously been more aggressive than others. Also, if we take a look at the picture, it's the green proto drake that you actually got through rep farming and Skullazar Basin in the Northrend during the Lich King expansion. And yeah, you had a rep farm, you got this egg, and after 7 days you can open an egg, and then there's like a 3% chance that you get this mount. It took me like 2 or 3 months to finally get this stupid mount, but once I got it, it wasn't stupid. It was like the best mount ever. But random rant, for those of you who played WoW, you understand the struggles. Moving to Primordial Explorer, it's a 3 mana 2/3 dragon, poisonous, so poisonous, very strong. Battle cry, discover a dragon. So again, we're seeing that discover a dragon mechanic, keeping dragons in the hand, so you can keep doing these synergies with cards that require you to have dragons in your hand, which is really good. The thing is, this is a 3 mana 2/3. It's not very powerful. It has a decent amount of HP, 3 HP isn't large, but it's not bad. But it's overall not like a big minion. Its best points to it is it has poisonous, so it's pretty annoying. Your opponent's not going to want to play a giant minion into it. And it's going to discover a dragon. Again, discover is pretty good. If it just said randomly generate a dragon or get a dragon, that's bad. But discovering one's not too bad. And yeah, it's okay. I mean, this is more of like a value tool. This is a value generator. It's found in like a slower dragon deck, and doesn't really fit what the hunter's supposed to do. So we'll see if dragon hunter is a thing. But like with cards like this, it really doesn't. The hunter's never been like a value class. So moving to Toxic Reinforcements, we have a hunter side quest here. Again, costs 1 mana. Use your hero power 3 times. Summon 3 1/1 leopardomes. I mean, 3 1/1 leopardomes, as we know, the death rattle is going to be do 2 damage each, so this is 6 damage if they all die immediately, and paying 1 mana to do 6 damage with a hunter is pretty good. You're going to be clicking that hero power anyway. So as this does look a little underwhelming, I thought about this. I actually have done this review on this card like 4 times now, and each time I go over it, it gets a little bit better. It's hard to say without testing it, but I think it's better than what people think, because if you're using the hero power, you're summoning minions, you're doing some damage, and then you summon 3 leopardomes, it's 6 damage. Most of the time they're going to be below 15. They're not going to want to kill them, but they have to kill them because then they can just attack face for 1 each. So maybe like taunts in the way of this is how you beat it, or maybe like dispelling them, or like mass dispel. I don't know, but I think it's actually not too shabby. Dragon Bane, 4 mana, 3/5 mech. After you use your hero power, deal 5 damage to a random enemy. Okay, so that's really good. Stat wise, it's pretty solid at 3/5 mech. Plus the fact that using your hero power, so on turn 6 is where you normally want to do this. You just weave this in on 6, you're going to deal 7 damage if there's no minions on the battlefield, right? Because it deals 5 damage to a random enemy, which it didn't say enemy minion, and it doesn't say just their face. So this can hit a minion or your opponent's face, and 5 damage on turn 6 is still probably going to kill whatever they have out. So Dragon Bane, really, really good. Dwarven Sharpshooter, 1 mana, 1/3, your hero power can target minions. So normally 1 mana, 1/3s are just powerful in general, like just stat wise, it's very good. Its ability is not that bad either. Being able to target minions with your hero power, so dealing 2 damage to whatever you'd like, isn't bad. Normally we most of the time want that to go face, but in the early stages of the game, maybe just trying to fight for board is better so you can keep your minions alive, so minions can go face. But either way, it's a 1 mana, 1/3, which is really good. Moving to the 2 mana, 2/3 Beast Phase Stalker. After you use your hero power, cast a secret from your deck. So far we've seen the dragon package going in here. We've got the hero power quest, which is more of a face deck. We've got mech stuff going on with Dragon Bane, and now we have secret stuff going on as Phase Stalker. So Hunters, it seems a little weird, right? We got a lot of things going on with a lot of cards. We haven't seen all the cards yet, but it's just, I feel like, what are we going for here? Are we going for mech? Are we going for face hunter? Are we going for dragon hunter? Are we gonna go for secret hunter? So I guess they're just trying to splash everything in here, and then we'll just figure out what's best. Putting spells from the deck into the battlefield by using your hero power for just 4 mana is pretty good, right? Because for 4 mana, we're getting a card out of our deck into the battlefield, plus we're summoning a minion, plus we're doing face damage to our opponent for 4 mana. That's pretty solid. So Phase Stalker, pretty good in the Secret Hunter deck, obviously, and not really a card you'd play on turn 2 normally, but you can. But you definitely want to try to weave in at least 1 hero power so you can get the value off of its ability. So taking a look at some of the Mage cards, we have Malygos, the Aspect of Magic. It's a 5 mana, 2/8 battle cry. If you're holding a dragon, discover an upgraded mage spell. They released a form with a whole bunch of upgraded mage spells. Maybe if I'm a good enough YouTuber, I will pull that up for you guys really quickly so you can see. The upgraded mage spells are generally pretty good. You discover one of them. You don't have the option between all of them. So depending on the situation, you're going to pick the card that best fits for you, whether you need AoE, you need damage, you need CC. 5 mana, 2/8 stat line, pretty solid. And again, it requires you to have a dragon, but if you're going to be running a dragon deck, having a dragon by turn 10 or turn 5 in your hand shouldn't be that hard. He does have 2 attack, which is not very good, but he has a huge amount of health. He has 8 health, which is pretty solid. I mean, not many 5 mana cards have 8 health at all. Max they normally have is maybe like 5 or 6. 8 is something you don't see often, which is why it has so low attack. But you play this card for its ability to get you an upgraded mage spell, not necessarily for its attack power. If this card had a high attack and decent health and this ability, I think it might actually just be too good. So they had to like sway it in an interesting way, and that's just give it a lot of health and not that much attack. Azure Explorer, the 4 mana, 2/3 dragon, spell damage +2, battlecry, discover a dragon. So again, battlecry, discovering dragons. We've seen this. Spell damage +2. So we've actually seen quite a few spell damage +2 4 mana cards for Mage in the past. We had the Arcane Anomaly. We had the Kobold something or other, and found in Freeze Mage. 4 mana +2 damage has seen play in Fringe decks, where the deck revolves around utilizing that. But will a Dragon Mage be like, you know what I mean? Stat wise, this isn't a good minion. The battle cry effect is decent. The spell damage is good. This could see play. I don't see this being like a fantastic card, but maybe like a Highlander Dragon deck would play this, just because, you know, on turn, there's some weird turns where like, for example, right now we have the 4 mana 2/2, you know, battle cry, discover a secret. Like that card isn't inherently really powerful, and it doesn't make the deck what it is, but it's just a nice little filler card that you put in there as maybe like a one of in a Highlander deck, just to add the extra bonus secret. So this may be a good card just to grab, to get the +2 spell damage, because that is pretty powerful. You know, Blizzard's doing 4 damage, Flame Strike's doing 6, Fireball's doing 8. That's just generally pretty good. Plus, with the Malygos, you get the upgraded ones, you'll do even more damage. Overall, pretty solid card, but not overwhelmingly powerful, but not actually like terrible. A lot of people might look at this card and be like, it's terrible. This card isn't terrible. It's just not like Bada bing, bada boom. All right, so moving to Paladin. Paladin really doesn't have a lot so far. We have Sand Breath. It's a 1 mana, give a minion +1/+2. Give it Divine Shield if you're holding a dragon. Again, more dragon requirements. So it looks like each and every class will have its own rendition of some sort of dragon deck. I'm sure there'll be a best one, and I'm sure there'll be a worst one. Hopefully the worst one isn't Warrior, because Warrior is always the worst at everything. And it seems like a more aggressive style card. I mean, they've been pushing. There was a Control Paladin and OTK Paladin for a long time now, and the control kind of died out a few, like maybe an expansion or two ago, and OTK has ruled the Paladin meta for a while now. We've seen the rise of Secret Paladin, but as we know, when the wild cards go back to wild, Mysterious Challenger will be leaving us, which means we don't really have the secret aggressive plan anymore. So maybe Sand Breath and a couple other cards, cheap dragons, will make the more aggressive style Dragon Paladin a thing. Without Divine Favor, for those of you who remember that card before it got rotated, it was how the Paladin refilled. The aggro Paladin would throw up onto the board. If your opponent was a good player and had cards in their hand, you'd play Divine Favor, you'd draw as many cards as your opponent, and then you could just keep throwing up on board, and by then you've already drawn the second Divine Favor. So it was just a Divine Favor throwing up sort of dance. But without that card, you can't really do this dance. Well, you can, but most of the time you just die. So we'll see where Sand Breath goes. It's a good card, but it's not like a 1 mana buff card. Isn't going to be like, aggro Paladin's back, let's go, boys. So with that, that's all we're going to cover in this video. I wanted to break it up. 10-15 minute videos is good enough. I don't want to pump out like a 30-minute review. No one wants that. I'm going to split into a couple parts. So the next part's going to be Priest, Rogue, Shaman, Warlock, Warrior. And again, as more cards get released, I will continue to pump out, segmented videos like this where we cover a decent amount of cards. We get them grouped up so we can see them kind of as a whole instead of just separately, and we get a better idea what's going on with these new cards and where the set's leading us. Also, love to hear your viewpoints and maybe comments about these cards that I may have missed. I know it's a lot of stuff very quickly, so I'm sure I didn't cover everything. With that, I'm Robert Warshak, and happy whatever the hell day it is.